Hi, ladies, I'm back now. So, you would have been playing with some of your Photoshop tools by now, and you've also experimented with some of the effects. I've just left the last thing that I did with my effects and I've kept it there, but I'm now going to actually cut and change things around and use layers to play with my picture a little bit. So I'm going to start compositing my image using what's already in my collage. So I'm going to use that really smart tool again, the content aware move tool that has the two squiggly lines. And I actually want more of this plant. So I'm going to trace around it. It's kind of a really dodgy trace. Hopefully it is very smart and it will figure out what it needs to cut out. And what I'm going to do is when you try to right click and do other things with it, what I've done is I've actually tried to highlight it on layer 1 and it's actually not on that layer. So if I unclick these, what I've actually selected is blankness. So I'm going to have to press Command D. So you need to always make sure you're highlighting it on the background layer, okay? So I'm going to do that again. So I'm just going to go around and do this. And that's got my, now what I can actually do is press Control Copy. So, or Control C or Command C. And then I'm going to press Command V. So that's layer 2. So to double check, I'm going to put this on top of this picture. But I'm just going to unclick all these so I know that layer 2 is that picture there. And what I can do is I'm just going to duplicate layer 2 as well. And to make it a little bit easier, I can actually rename these layers. So I'm just going to call it branch 1, branch, because after a while you'll see millions of layers and you won't know what layer you're talking about or what it is. So I'm going to press Command T or Control T for branch 1 and I'm just going to drag it. Now, say for example, I just want to continue it. I can just do that and add it on and just press enter and then that could be how you like it. I'm going to click on branch A and then press Command T. So I'm just going to move this over here, but what I can do is right click on it and I can either flip horizontal so it will flip the other way. I'll flip it back if I don't want it that way. I can flip vertical. I can also rotate it, rotate 90 degrees clockwise. So I'm going to counterclockwise and move it back. And what you can also do is press Option, hold on Shift, and you can shrink it and enlarge it in the same proportions if you click on Shift. If you don't, you're just going to warp the picture and it's going to go whichever way you put it in. So just press Command Z again. So I'm going to make this a bit. Oh, I don't want it so big. I'm going to actually make it smaller, holding on to Shift. And I'm just going to kind of continue my branch line. Now, you can also rotate it a little bit when you get these kind of corner arrows that look like this and you can shift it around a little bit. So I kind of want this to go around here. Another thing you can do with these layers is you can play with your opacity. So over here is opacity. So it's kind of like how clear or see-through that you want it. So say for example, I might duplicate branch A again. So I'm going to actually call it branch 1B instead. And press enter. I'm going to press Command T because I'm using a Mac. And say for example, I'm going to rotate it a little bit. I want this to be like little horns coming out of this thing's head. But I don't want it so bright because it looks like the others. So I'm going to use my opacity so I can make it a bit lighter so it fades in. Or you can also use fill, how much it fills in as well. So it kind of almost looks like it's part of the picture. Just don't go too far because then it just might disappear. So I kind of like 1B, and I might duplicate that as well. And I'm going to call it 1C. I'm going to press Command T again. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip horizontal, and then I'm going to put one on the other side and press enter or return. So I've got the ears there. And yes, so this is how I can use layers and cut different things in the picture and move them around and create a completely new picture